Ethniko. 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 Read it.
The English as a Second Language class, called ESL, attempts to leap the greatest hurdle most refugees face, speaking English. Refugees used to receive over a year's language training funded by a block grant to the state. It has recently been cut in half. Unlike many European immigrants who have faced the language challenge in America, the Hmong come from a pre-literate tradition. They had no alphabet until 30 years ago, when missionaries introduced a written notation to them. Most Hmong have never studied language in school. They have a different way of expressing verb tense and plurals in their native tongue. 6 months of classes barely scratch the surface of their need for language training. Rebecca Tesdell.
For most refugees who are in English classes, it takes probably a couple of years to get to a point where they can function comfortably in English, and even longer to prepare themselves for any kind of training or jobs.
Read this.
Hey, a quarter. Jumbo balloons a quarter. 25 cents. A mile long and a yard wide, a quarter. Oh, for God's sake. Hey, a quarter. Quarter.
After 3 months in the U.S., Chow and Hmong are introduced to the public market in Midtown Seattle.
Hi, your price fish here. Come on.
Renee Taylor, director of the Indo-Chinese Women's Program at the YMCA, has been working with refugee women for the last 3 years.
The Indo-Chinese Women's Program, as part of its second week, takes a field trip down to the public market. Most of the women don't have a lot of experience using some of the modern appliances and equipment that we have in the United States. They don't know how to take the bus. They don't know how our money system is set up. They don't know really how to go shopping. They don't really even know what would go in the refrigerator, what goes in a cupboard. You don't put chicken in the toaster, which is kind of a universal joke around here. I guess somebody trying to do that.
Lemon.
What color is that? Yellow. Good. And what is this? Housekeeping in general. When you're used to a dirt floor and you've got to deal with rugs, how do you even clean them? I heard of one family who would just kind of hose down their living room down the heating vent. I mean, they would just kind of put, they thought that was where the dust went.
Bananas.
Okay. And what are those?
I don't know.
What is that?
Green.
I am constantly hearing things that just make me go, oh my gosh, why didn't I think of that? They tend to carry a lot of money on their person because in their own country, a sign of wealth is wearing all this beautiful jewelry and this beautiful stitchery. That's a sign of status. They're very vulnerable. They don't know that people just can't walk into your house. A lot of times they'll be sitting around and somebody will walk into their house and take things. And they don't know what's accepted and what's not in our culture, so they're really afraid to insult someone. They think maybe somebody's going to send them back or whatever. So they aren't real sure what our culture is all about.
And many Americans are not sure what the refugees are all about.
I think that the government is getting kind of out of hand by letting all these refugees come over here. They have to give out so much money to the refugees. That's the reason that they're cutting out a lot of the programs and things like this.
You know, you read the paper every day and you read about refugees and you read about wars, and in my mind, I never connected with who is really the victim of all that.
The kids get on your nerves, and the people don't understand English very well.
They're not too clean.
These folks used to live in a bamboo house with palm fronds on the top and dirt roads, and their refrigerator was a cool place down the river.
They lived 19 in one bedroom. You know, we couldn't do that. I couldn't even get a one-bedroom apartment with me and my son.
When the kids step out their door, they don't maybe go back all day. In a little village where everyone is there to watch you, that probably works great. But in this city,
they don't have nothing to play with, nothing to do. They play with broken glass. They get in those dumpsters. They eat those sticker bushes back there. They fight over them to eat them. You know, it's just, they don't need to be here.
They were pushed out of their country. They didn't, particularly dream while they were in Laos of coming to the United States and living it up with cars and Big Macs and nice apartments near the water and stuff like that.
Several of the women each quarter have been either raped or assaulted.
We were accosted by a group of teenagers who were yelling at them, "You're Vietnamese, we're going to fix you." And they're saying, no, we're Lao.
Sometimes I'd like to pack them up and ship them back where they came from.
I'm certain that in their hearts they would like to be in the hills of Laos again.
They need to be in the country, like in Kent, or something, because they like to grow the vegetables and stuff like this here, Everything they like to do, they can't do everything in the city. This don't make no sense. It's probably worse here than it was, where they came from.
See, the Hmong have a saying that if there's always a piece of ground, they will never go starving. They will have to worry about getting some money in Laos because there's no job. You work for yourself, They don't call that a job. They just say go and work, You don't worry about something that you doing for them and you get paid. You just worry about your own stomach, when it's going to be empty, when it's going to be full, When they come to this country, the only thing they talk about is if you don't have a job to support your family, then you will be starving. Everything is so modern, everything is done by machine, not by manual work, and they worry about, I don't even speak the language, I won't be even qualified for the job than a regular American person. They're not the type of people who have education, they're only a tribal people. It really makes them feel depressed,
There seem to be few attempts to channel traditional Hmong skills toward productive employment. The batik and reverse applique work of the women, however, is receiving attention in craft circles. Hmong and Chow have been asked to sell their work with a Hmong crafts group at an international district street fair. While the U.S. refugee population is going up, Congress's appropriation for refugees is going down, 29% down as of the 1981-82 fiscal year. The welfare assistance supporting refugees may soon be cut from 3 years to 18 months in duration. Refugees without jobs will be forced to draw state welfare.